Welcome back to Coin Age Era. Today, we're going on an incredible journey through time with some of the most fascinating Indian and Ceylon coins ever circulated. These coins are not just currency, they are living pieces of history, telling stories of empires, wars, and independence. From the classic 1936 one-quarter anna of the British Raj, to the wartime issues like the 1942 and 1946 two annas minted during the intense period of World War II, and then comes the legendary 1947 One Rupee, a coin directly connected to the historic moment of partition of India, time that changed the entire subcontinent forever. We'll also take a look at unique coins like the 1951 Ceylon 10 cents, representing the early years of modern Sri Lanka, along with later coins such as the 1988 Indian 25 Paise and the 2000 Indian 5 rupees, showing how coin designs evolved over time. But here's the real surprise. Some of these coins, depending on their condition, rarity, and mint errors, can be worth far more than their face value sometimes, reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars in the collector's market. So stay with me till the end, because you might discover that a simple old coin in your collection could actually be a hidden treasure, waiting to be found. The 1936 one-quarter anna is a fascinating coin from the era of the British Raj, a time when India was under British control and its currency system was very different from today. Back then, 1 rupee equals 16 annas, and each anna was further divided, making the quarter anna a very small denomination used for everyday transactions, like buying basic goods. Despite its small value, this coin played a big role in daily life across the subcontinent. This coin features George V on the obverse, symbolizing British authority over India. The reverse design is simple yet elegant, showing 1/4 anna India 1936, surrounded by a decorative floral pattern. It was typically made from bronze, giving it that classic brown tone collectors recognize today. Coins from this period reflect not just currency, but also the political power and influence of the British Empire in India. The year 1936 itself is interesting because it falls in the late reign period of King George V, just before major global changes like World War II began to reshape economies and coin production worldwide. Coins from this era were minted in large numbers, but finding them today in high-grade condition is much harder, especially with clear details and minimal wear, value, and worth. In today's collector market, a circulated 1936 quarter anna is usually worth around $1 to $5. However, coins in very fine to extremely fine condition can reach $10 to $25. If you're lucky enough to have an uncirculated or high-grade example, its value can go up to $50 or more. Rare mint errors or exceptionally preserved coins can attract even higher prices among serious collectors. Even though it's a small and simple coin, the 1936 1/4 anna carries the weight of history from colonial rule to the changing economic systems of India. So next time you see one, remember, it's not just a coin, it's a piece of a lost era. Now, let's move on to our next coin and uncover another powerful piece of history. The 1942 2 annas coin comes from one of the most intense periods in world history during World War II, when economies across the globe were under extreme pressure. India, still under the British Raj, faced massive demand for resources, and this directly affected coin production. This coin features George VI on the obverse, marking a transition from earlier rulers and symbolizing a new phase of British leadership during wartime. The reverse of the coin is unique and easily recognizable, often featuring a square shape with rounded corners, which makes it stand out from traditional round coins. This design wasn't just for style, it also made the coin easier to identify by touch during everyday use. Due to wartime shortages, the metal composition of coins changed significantly. The 1942 2 annas was commonly made from copper nickel or nickel brass, as precious metals were reserved for military use. This makes the coin not only a currency piece, but also a reflection of how global conflict influenced even the smallest details of daily life. Historically, 1942 was also a crucial year in India's struggle for independence, with movements like the Quit India movement gaining momentum. So this coin existed during a time when political tension, war, and the fight for freedom were all happening, simultaneously making it a silent witness to major historical events. Value and worth. In today's market, a circulated 1942, 2 annas coin is usually worth around $2 to $10. Coins, in fine to extremely fine condition, can reach $15 to $40. If you find an uncirculated or high-grade coin, its value can go up to $80 or more. Special varieties, rare mint marks, or error coins can push the value even higher among collectors. The 1942 2 annas is more than just a coin. It's a symbol of survival, war, and a nation on the brink of independence. A small coin, but with a truly massive historical story behind it. Now, let's move on to our next coin and uncover another powerful piece of history. The 1946 half rupee is one of the most important coins from the final phase of the British Raj. This coin was minted at a time when British rule in India was coming to an end, and the entire subcontinent was moving rapidly towards independence. Just 1 year later, history would completely change with the events of partition of India. On the obverse, the coin features George VI, the last British ruler to appear on Indian coins. The portrait reflects the authority of the British crown, but by 1946, that authority was already weakening. The reverse of the coin displays the denomination half rupee along with the year 1946, surrounded by a traditional floral design that gives the coin a classic and royal look. One of the most interesting aspects of the 1946 half rupee is its metal composition. Earlier half rupees were made of silver, but by the 1940s, due to the economic impact of World War II, silver was removed and replaced with nickel. This change makes the 1946 coin part of a major transition in coinage. History from precious metals to more affordable materials. The year 1946 was also politically intense. Independence movements were at their peak, and negotiations between British authorities and Indian leaders were shaping the future of the region. Coins like this were circulating during protests, political meetings, and a time when the entire nation was preparing for freedom. That makes this coin not just currency, but a silent witness to revolution and change. Because these coins were heavily used in daily transactions, most surviving pieces today show significant wear. Finding a well-preserved or uncirculated 1946 half rupee is much more difficult, which increases its collector value. Value and worth. A circulated 1946 half rupee is usually worth around $3 to $15. Coins, in fine to extremely fine condition, can sell for $20 to $60. If you have an uncirculated or high-grade example, its value can reach $100 to $250 plus. Rare mint marks or exceptional condition coins can go even higher in auctions. The 1946 half rupee represents the final moments of British India, carrying the story of a nation standing on the edge of independence. A strong, historic coin with deep meaning and real collector value. Now let's move on to our next coin and explore one of the most iconic coins in Indian history, the 1947. One rupee coin is not just currency, it is a symbol of a turning point in history. This coin was minted in the final year of the British Raj, making it one of the last coins issued under British authority before independence. It circulated during a time when the entire subcontinent was going through massive political and social change. On the obverse, the coin features George VI, the last British monarch to appear on Indian coinage. His portrait represents the fading control of the British Empire over India. The reverse displays the denomination 1 rupee, along with the year 1947, designed in a simple yet bold style that reflects the final phase of colonial coinage. The year 1947 holds immense importance because it marks the independence of India and the historic event of partition of India. During this time, millions of people were affected by the division, and coins like this were in everyday use, making them direct witnesses to one of the most emotional and transformative periods in South Asian history. Another important detail is the metal composition. Earlier rupee coins were made of silver, but by this time, due to economic pressures and the after effects of World War II, the 1947 One Rupee was minted in nickel, showing a major shift in coin production. Because these coins were heavily circulated during such a turbulent time, most surviving pieces today are worn. However, finding a clean, well-preserved example with sharp details is much harder, which significantly increases its value among collectors. Value and worth. A circulated 1947 One Rupee coin is typically worth around $5 to $20. Coins in better condition, fine to extremely fine, can sell for $30 to $80. If you have an uncirculated or high-grade coin, its value can go up to $150 to $300 plus. Rare mint marks or exceptional quality coins can reach even higher prices in auctions. The 1947 One Rupee is more than just a coin, it's a piece of independence, a reminder of the end of British rule and the birth of a new nation. A truly powerful and collectible coin. Now let's move on to our next coin and explore a unique piece from South Asian history. The 1951 Ceylon 10 cents coin comes from a very interesting period when Sri Lanka was still known as Ceylon and had recently gained independence from British rule in 1948. This coin represents the early years of a newly independent nation, making it historically very significant. On the obverse, the coin features George VI, showing that even after independence, Ceylon continued to recognize the British monarch as its head of state. This makes the coin a unique blend of independence and colonial legacy at the same time. The reverse design is simple yet elegant, displaying the denomination 10 cents along with the year 1951, often surrounded by a clean decorative style. Unlike many earlier coins, this coin was typically made from cupronickel, giving it a silver-like appearance and better durability for circulation. The early 1950s were a time of economic rebuilding and national identity formation for Ceylon. Coins like this were part of everyday life as the country worked to establish its own systems while still carrying influences from its colonial past. That's why collectors find this coin especially interesting. It represents a transition between two eras. Because these coins were widely used in daily transactions, many surviving examples today show wear. However, finding a well-preserved or uncirculated 1951 Ceylon 10 cents coin with clear details is much harder, which increases its collector value. Value and worth. A circulated 1951 Ceylon 10 cents coin is usually worth around $1 to $5. Coins in better condition can sell for $10 to $1.25. If you have an uncirculated or high-grade example, its value can go up to $40 to $100 plus, especially with strong luster and minimal marks. Rare varieties can push the value even higher. The 1951 Ceylon 10 cents is not just a small coin, it's a symbol of a nation finding its identity, making it a beautiful and meaningful piece for collectors. Now let's move on to our next coin and explore a piece from the modern era of Indian coinage. The 1988 Indian 2.5 Paise coin represents a completely different era compared to earlier coins. It belongs to independent India, a time when the country was rapidly modernizing and developing its own identity after decades of colonial rule. By this period, India had fully transitioned into a republic, moving far away from the influence of the British Raj. On the obverse, the coin proudly features the land capital of Ashoka, the national emblem of India, symbolizing power, pride, and sovereignty. The reverse displays the denomination 25 Paise, along with the year 1988, designed in a clean and practical style suitable for everyday use. Unlike older coins with royal portraits, this design reflects a self-governing nation with its own identity. One of the most noticeable changes in this coin is its material and shape. The 1988 25 Paise was often made from stainless steel, making it lightweight, durable, and resistant to corrosion. Its square shape with rounded corners made it easy to recognize by touch, especially for daily transactions. This design choice shows how coinage evolved to become more user-friendly and cost-effective. During the late 1980s, coins like this were widely used in markets, transport, and daily life across India. However, over time, inflation reduced the purchasing power of smaller denominations like 25 paise, and eventually, these coins were demonetized in 2011. This marked the end of an era for small-value coins in India. Today, many of these coins are still found, but most are heavily circulated. Finding a clean, uncirculated example with sharp edges and original shine is much more difficult, which increases its value for collectors. Value and worth. A circulated 1988 25 paise coin is usually worth around 10 cents to 50 cents. Coins in better condition can sell for $1 to $5, however. Uncirculated or high-grade coins can reach $10 to $30 plus, especially for collectors who focus on modern Indian coinage. Rare errors or exceptional condition coins can go even higher. The 1988 25 paise may look like a simple modern coin, but it represents the economic evolution of India, showing how currency adapted with time. A small coin, but a meaningful part of modern history. Now let's move on to our last coin and wrap up this journey with a modern yet powerful piece of Indian currency. The 2000 Indian 5 rupees coin represents the transition of India into the modern economic era. By the year 2000, India had entered a phase of rapid growth, globalization, and technological advancement. This coin reflects a time when the country was strengthening its economy and moving towards becoming a global power. On the obverse, the coin features the lion capital of Ashoka, the national emblem representing strength, unity, and independence. Unlike the older colonial coins of the British Raj, this design shows a confident and fully independent nation. The reverse displays the denomination, 5 rupees, along with the year 2000, often accompanied by simple yet bold design elements. One of the key highlights of the 2000 5 rupees coin is its bimetallic or copper-nickel composition, depending on variety, giving it a modern and durable structure. It was designed for heavy circulation, as 5 rupees became one of the most commonly used denominations in everyday transactions like transport, shopping, and small payments. By this time, India's currency system had fully evolved from the old Anna system to the decimal system, making transactions simpler and more efficient. Coins like this were part of daily life for millions of people, representing the fast-changing economic landscape of the country. Even though this coin is relatively modern, collectors still find interest in it due to mint varieties, errors, and high-grade conditions. Since most coins were heavily circulated, finding a perfect, uncirculated example with original shine can still be challenging. Value and worth. A circulated 2000 Indian 5 rupees coin is usually worth around face value to $1. Coins in better condition can sell for $2 to $5. However, uncirculated or rare error coins can reach $10 to $50 plus, depending on rarity and demand. Special mint varieties can sometimes go even higher among collectors. The 2000 Indian 5 rupees may be modern, but it represents the new India, country moving forward with strength and progress. A perfect coin to end this historical journey. So these were some of the most fascinating Indian and Ceylon coins, each carrying a unique story from the era of the British Raj to the rise of modern India. But here's the real question. Do you have any of these coins in your collection? Because even a small detail, a rare year, or a high-grade condition could turn an ordinary coin into a hidden treasure worth thousands. If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Coinage Era for more rare coin stories and values. And remember, next time you see an old coin, don't ignore it. Check it closely. Because you never know. You might be holding a fortune in your hands.